Hello, and welcome to the Blue Water Running Podcast. I'm your host, Maren, and this podcast features and celebrates the achievements of high school and collegiate cross-country and track and field athletes from the Blue Water area of Michigan. Today's episode features Algonac High School senior Kate Bennett. Kate's outdoor track and field career just ended in the best way possible. On May 31st at the D3 state finals at Kent City High School, she dropped a massive personal best in the 800 meters, running 222.91 to finish sixth and earn all-state honors, her first trip ever to the podium. Kate's no stranger to the state meet. She's a three-time regional champ and state qualifier in the 800, but her times kept dropping all spring into uncharted territory. Her prior 800 best last year was a 234, and in the 1600, her sophomore year, it was a 626. This year, well, she ran a 5:42 mile at the Muskrat Classic and claimed the Blue Water Meet of Champions title in the 800 in 226, her fastest yet before the state meet. She also had a successful fall cross-country campaign, taking last year's PR of 21:40 to a 20:34 and qualifying for the state meet at MIS. We'll chat with Kate about her amazing accomplishment at the state meet, what's in her future for running, and get to know her as a person outside of athletics. Welcome to the Blue Water Running Podcast. I'm excited that you're here and we get to chat with you about a really awesome weekend last weekend.
Yeah,
super exciting. So for our listeners who maybe don't know, you were all state. You had a huge PR, an amazing accomplishment. You got to climb the podium at the D3 state meet. So we're going to chat about that first because let's dive into it. Tell us how your race at the state finals went. I mean, talk to us about what you were hoping to do when you got there, kind of as you go through the race, you know, what's unfolding, what's happening, and just take us back to that moment.
Okay, so going into the race, I kind of had a goal of breaking our school record, which was 223.98, which my PR before that was like about 2.5 seconds slower than that. So I knew that I had to like really go out hard. I was in the slow heat at states, which I was a little nervous about because I wanted to have faster people to like push me more, but
Yeah.
it ended up working out well because I didn't get boxed in or anything. And at one point a girl did. So I started out in first, and then I think after about the first lap, one of the girls passed me, and then I ended up passing her back about the last 150 meters probably. So it was still nice to have people there who were running really fast to push me, but I wasn't getting boxed in or trapped anywhere, so I could still run my race and run as hard as I could.
Did you win your heat then, I'm assuming?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's pretty impressive. Getting an all-state medal out of the slower heat. That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
And another thing we should mention, if people aren't aware of who was in the fast heat, the fastest 800 meter runner ever in high school to race the event in the state of Michigan, the fastest current national high school runner in the 800, Emery Ross from Onstead. She's gone 2 flat, which is an absolutely mind-blowing time. And so we knew that whoever else was running in the state meet would just be pulled by her because she's going to set the pace. I think she jogged in.
Yeah.
Like, a 209, maybe 206, something like that.
I think it was a 207.
207. Okay. Yeah. I knew it was not, I mean, still incredibly fast. That's faster than I ever ran in college. But for her, that's probably not as taxing as a 2 flat. So you cross the finish line. You've won your heat. You don't know yet, really, what your overall place is then. So what was going through your mind as you were kind of waiting around till the fast heat was done?
Well, I crossed the finish line, and there was a clock right by the finish line, so I knew I came in at a 2:22, and that was really exciting because I knew I broke our school record, and I did not expect it all to place. I did not think that would happen, so I was kind of just like excited that I had broke our school record. And so then I was just on the ground, and my other two coaches were watching the fast heat go. And they were like, once they were finishing, they're coming in and they're like, oh, I think she got top 8. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so then we were just waiting for the actual times to come in at athletic.net. And then we saw that I had placed, and it was really exciting.
Yeah, that's a double exciting thing because you had first your school record gets broken. You already know that. Your time is a huge PR. Then the cherry on top, you find out, oh my gosh, I'm all state.
Yeah.
So were you surprised that you had run that fast?
Um, kind of, yes. But also, I kind of knew I could do it, and um, I had wanted to so bad. So I knew I could break our school record. I didn't think I would be a second faster. I thought if I were to break it, it would be like milliseconds. So
Hmm.
I was quite a bit surprised, and it was just more exciting, I think.
Yes. And I know that sometimes we talk ourselves out of things that we could do just
Yeah.
because it's uncharted territory and we're not quite sure, what will that feel like? What will that look like? Were you worried that if you went out harder, you said you knew that you had to get out faster that first lap. Were you worried that you wouldn't be able to sustain that pace? I mean, was that a doubt that you had to kind of battle with?
It was a little bit because I think in my past meets, I've been going out fast, but then like the last 200, I'm just like slowing down. I'm not actually like having a kick. So I knew that I actually had to kick this time, and it was like my last shot to do this. So I think that pushed me more.
Yeah, and your last race ever as a high schooler.
Yeah.
So no pressure, right? Well, how did it feel? I mean, you're standing up on the podium. You're an all-state athlete for the very first time. What were your emotions and thoughts?
I was so excited. I never thought that I would be standing on a podium at a state track meet. So it was just so surreal to be up there and to see my coaches and my family in the stands. It was really cool.
I'm sure. Did you do anything extra special or have anything extra special to eat or celebrate after the meet?
Yes, I requested that we went to Culver's on our way home, and then I had to go to my senior all-night party after, so
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's a long day. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
It was cool though, because I could go tell my friends what had happened, so
Yeah, yeah. You walk in with your medal and be like,
yeah.
hey. Although I've talked about this with a couple other athletes before, the medals, I gotta say, they're a little bit of a letdown after you work really hard to get all state.
Yes.
I mean, there's some other invitationals where the medals are very unique and big and cool, and then you get that one, you're like, I feel
Yeah.
like they could step it up a notch.
Yeah.
But, still, can't take away that achievement. So. All right, well, let's go back to the beginning and let's hear about how you first began running track and field as a sport. You um, can tell us, like, how did you get involved? What made you decide to try it? How old you were? All those things about where you began.
So I joined track when I was a freshman, and at the time I was swimming for a club team. My school doesn't have a swim team, so I was just swimming out of a club. And I joined track really just so that I could get like a high school sport experience. And I also figured it would help with my endurance in the pool. And so that's really why I joined. And then I ended up liking it a lot, and I ended up quitting swim and sticking with it.
I know that swimming is a great precursor to running. You have
Yes.
a very big aerobic base if you're a swimmer, so I'm sure that definitely helped you out. Now, I noticed you ran track since you were a freshman. Well, you only started cross country as a junior, is that correct?
Yeah.
So, what was the reason that you decided to dive into that as a junior?
Um, my coach, Coach Schaefer, he was trying to get me to join the cross country team since after my freshman year of track. Um, and I was gonna do it my sophomore year, but then I just backed out because I stuck with swim. But then finally, my junior year, I was like, it was a lot of time with swim, and I was just kind of over it, so I decided to do cross country instead because it wouldn't take as much time out of my day, and with my classes and everything, it just fit better into my schedule.
Are you
So that's
glad
really
that
why.
you did? I mean, do you feel like that helped you see success in track?
Yes, I'm very happy I ended up joining the cross country team. It was a good experience.
Well, and you had good success there as well. I mean, you had some big
Yes.
improvements between your 2 years. So let's talk about factors of improvement. So you had an 800 best last year of 234, and then you ran 226 this year before the state meet, and then you went to a 222 at the state meet. That's a huge jump. I mean, if you look at 234 to 222. So, what do you think were the biggest factors that helped you improve? I mean, were there specific workouts that you were doing? Did you change something in your normal routine, or do you feel like maybe it was just experience and getting better?
So last year I had injured my hip about 2 weeks before the track season started, and I couldn't compete in any meets or run for probably the first month of the season. So I think that had really set me back last year. So then coming into the season this year, I really focused on strength training and recovery to not injure myself. And if something hurt, I took a break. So, but I was still working really hard to like when I could. Um, so I think that helped a lot because I wasn't hurt and I felt great throughout the season.
Was there any moment this season where you knew that you were ready to do something big? Like you thought, okay, I'm on the cusp of a breakthrough. I can feel it coming.
Yeah, so I raced at the Barnyard Invitational in Romeo, and that was the first time that I had broken 230. And before that moment, I didn't think that I didn't know if I would break 230 or not. And so once I finally did it, I was like, all right, I can do this. And then about, I think 2 days before the state track meet, that Thursday, we did a workout that was like 400 at race pace and then like 30 seconds rest, and then you run another 400. So it's kind of like a broken 800.
Hmm.
And I think like together with the both 400 times, I ran like a 223. And that was pretty reassuring for me to know that if I could do it at practice, even with a break in between, I knew I could do it again.
Well, how do you stay motivated when you have a really hard workout like that, or maybe an off day where you're not feeling your best? What keeps you pushing through?
I would just say discipline. It gets tough sometimes, but I know that in the end, it's gonna feel so rewarding when you accomplish something that you've worked so hard for. So I just try to think about the end goal and I trust the process.
I like that. Trust the process. Hey, that sounds like it could be a good t-shirt. Well, most runners, not all, but many struggle with nerves before a big race or even smaller races. I know I did. So, what do you tell yourself on the starting line that helps you stay calm or get you in the zone or focused when you are ready to run?
Yeah, so I always like to pray before I run. I think that really helps calm my nerves down. And then when I'm on that line before I go, I just try to remind myself, like, at the end of the day, the race doesn't matter that much. Um, just to run my race, do my best, and that's all I can really do. So,
That's true. You can't ask more of yourself than your best. Well, if you could give advice to your younger self, or maybe to another girl who is dreaming of making it to the state meet and perhaps climbing the all state podium, what would you say?
I would say just to work hard. It does take a lot of work, but it's so rewarding. But also make sure you're having fun and don't take it so seriously all the time. It's You really got to find a balance between the two.
Yes, if you're not having fun and you hate it, it's probably not the right spot for you mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So next year, you're headed to SC4
Yeah.
and you're going to run cross country and track, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that you would like to try collegiately for either indoor or outdoor track that you haven't done before that maybe you think you would be interested in doing?
I don't know. I would like to stick with running my 800. Um, I could see myself like trying other events, maybe like a 1500 or something else that they have, but probably focus on my 800 still.
Do you have a goal in mind for your collegiate time? Is there something that's kind of on your radar? Like, I'd like to do this.
If I could break 220, that would be pretty cool, but we'll see.
That is a big deal. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Do you have a favorite song or a pre-race ritual? Is there something that kind of helps you focus and center and get yourself ready mentally and physically for racing?
I don't really have a pre-race song, but I always like eat the same foods before my races. And I do like the same warm up and stuff before I run. That's about it though. I don't really have anything else.
So, what do you eat? I'm curious.
Um, the night before I always have pasta, and then the day of the race I always have like oatmeal, and I really like to eat like dried mango and granola about 2 hours before my race.
Well, apparently it worked, right?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a favorite meet, like cross country, track? Is there some meet that you really enjoy going to because it's just a favorite?
Yeah, I really like our Friday night lights that we host. I don't know what it is. I just love running in the dark. It's so much cooler.
Well, if you do run collegiately, a lot of track meets are under the lights. A lot of events are at night, which I loved as a
Yeah.
collegiate athlete. I have a really hard time getting up and racing in the morning. My body just is better at night. And so
Yeah.
when I ran track collegiately for Spring Arbor, a lot of my races were on Friday nights, which was great. Loved
Yeah.
that. All right. So tell us about you. What are your hobbies and your interests outside of athletics? What do you like to do in your spare time when you aren't doing something for sports or school?
My family is very outdoorsy, so I like to hunt and fish. We have a boat, so I love to be on the water. I work at a marina in the summer, so anything that's by the water or just outside.
Well, you're in the right place for that.
Yeah.
Algonac's right on the water. So
Yes.
I have to tell you, you just mentioned Friday Night Lights. So years ago, I was with our team from Armada. My husband coaches, and my son was running at the time, and they came to that meet. And there was another team in front of us walking out after the meet was done, going to their bus, and they were from a more urban school. And he was looking around and goes, "Man, they got everything out here. Snakes, goats, chickens, horses." And I just couldn't stop laughing because we think nothing of seeing farms and animals and things, but
Yeah.
people who don't live in an area where that's commonplace. And so every time I come to Algonac for a meet, I say to my husband or my kids, "Man, look at the goats and the chickens." It just makes me laugh. So, all
That's
right.
funny.
Well, what is something that people would be surprised to know about you?
Um, I don't know if this would be surprising. It's kind of just more of a fun fact, but I do have a pet bunny. His
Okay,
name's
that's cool.
Silver. Yeah.
So what kind of rabbit is it? Do you know?
He is like a dwarf, so he's small, but I think
Okay.
he's a Dutch mixed with something else. So he's like black and white and he's got little spots.
Okay. Have you ever seen the rabbits that are humongous, like they're the size of dogs?
Yes.
Yeah,
They're
when I go to
huge.
the St. Clair County Fair and I go in the rabbit barn there, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy, to be honest.
Yeah, they're really big.
Yes. All right. If you could meet any professional athlete from the past or present, they could be living or not, who would you pick?
I would want to meet Anna Hall. I think she is so inspiring. Doing 7 events is just crazy.
Yes, and she's so good at all of them.
Yes.
Not to mention she's beautiful, very well
Yeah.
spoken. She's fun, like she's got a great personality. Yeah, I love watching her because when she's done with every jump, every throw, whatever she's doing, she's like, "Let's go."
Yeah. She gets so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, a question to wrap up our conversation. If you could go for a run anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I would want to go like somewhere out west, like in Montana, just run through the mountains. I love the mountains and I think it'd be so pretty.
It would. Have you ever been out west?
Yes, I've been to Montana twice.
Okay. How about Colorado?
That's on my bucket list. I would like to
Okay.
go
I was
there.
going to say, I bet you would like that too.
Yeah.
I had a roommate in college who married an actual cowboy from Montana, like legit
Oh.
ranching cowboy. And I never got to visit her. I always wanted to, but she would tell me things about, it was like 6 miles to their nearest neighbor and 2 hours to the nearest grocery store. And
Yeah.
I always asked her, because they had obviously tons of wildlife. They were pretty close to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I said, is it safe to run there? She's like, well, people do. I'm terrified of large predatory animals like a
Yeah.
mountain lion or, a wolf or something. She's like, oh, you'd be fine. You would never see a mountain lion. They'd see you before you'd ever see them. And if you did see one, well, then you're probably in trouble. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's the
So,
only scary part.
yeah. You just have to not think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the scenery and don't worry about what could possibly kill you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kate, it's been great to talk to you and get to know you as a person, not just an athlete. I'm super excited for you. What a way to end your senior year and your career as an Algonac Muskrat. That's so exciting. So just inspiring to a lot of our BWAC athletes who maybe are looking ahead and hoping to achieve the same thing. And you're not done yet. We're going to keep an eye on you at SC4 and see how things go there.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll leave you today with a quote from Anna Hall, an American athlete who won the silver medal in the heptathlon at the 2023 World Championships and the bronze medal at the 2022 World Championships. Hall is the North American indoor record holder for the pentathlon. Her heptathlon and pentathlon best scores place her 5th and 4th on the respective world all-time lists. She's the only multi-event woman to break 6,700 points in the heptathlon and run under 55 seconds in the 400-meter hurdles. Hall also has a 50.82 as a personal best in the 400 meters. She's a 3-time U.S. national champion, and she won 2 NCAA Division I titles for the University of Florida. Always do your best. Your best will change from moment to moment. Simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment and regret. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Please share an episode to help spread the word about Blue Water Running's mission, which is to feature and celebrate the achievements of high school and collegiate cross-country and track and field athletes from our area. You can follow Blue Water Running on Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, along with meet and athlete reports and photos on the website at bluewaterrunning.org. Coverage of Blue Water Running is sponsored in part by Elite Feet of Port Huron. If you need running shoes, spikes, or apparel, they have a friendly and knowledgeable staff to help you find what you need, and they've spent years supporting local athletes in our area. They're located at 327 Huron Avenue in downtown Port Huron. Verlinde Insurance is also a supporter of coverage on Blue Water Running. Training as an athlete teaches you resilience and preparation. Apply those lessons to your life with their insurance plans. Be ready for anything with them by your side. You can visit verlindeinsurance.com or email Noah at verlindeinsurance.com for more information.